Great to have you back. It's still Good Morning Anambra. Well, if you're just joining us, that's the program this morning, and we are about to talk about something very important. Of course, if you will agree with me that the youths are the future of tomorrow, we've been hearing that for a very long time in the country. But then again, if the youths actually have to get to their full potentials, then things that should be put in place should be available for them to achieve this feat and, of course, make the country great and better. Well, on this note, we will be talking about harnessing youth's potential here all over the world, and, of course, particularly in Anambra State. And we have a guest in the house is going to be helping us with the analysis this morning on the challenges, the way forward, and what we have to start doing. Mr. Bonaventure Anambra, Honorable Commissioner for Youth Entrepreneurship and Creative Economy. Good to have you on the program.
Yeah, good morning. Good to have you here.
You're welcome to Good Morning Anambra.
So, thank you very much. Yeah.
All right, you see the topic you're talking about, harnessing youth potential. Now, you are the Commissioner for Youth in Anambra State. I want you personally to describe a Nigerian youth for us. You've interacted with them over time. Now, I want you to describe a typical Nigerian youth.
Well, a typical Nigerian youth is a young person who is very creative, passionate about himself, and willing to exploit at any point in time. That is a typical Nigerian youth of today. Okay.
I've been the Honorable Commissioner for Youth Entrepreneurship and Creative Economy. How has it been so far?
As at the moment, very interesting. Working with youth and also working with the entire people of Anambra State, to bring out the best that is in youth, most especially the teeming population of Anambra youth, who are very enterprising, and as I did in my explanation of youth, very passionate and willing to learn.
It's quite amazing. Quickly, we also want to know, talking about harnessing the potential of youth, what have your ministry, and of course you as the Commissioner in charge of that ministry, what have you done over the period you've been manning that office to harness the potential of the youth in the state?
When we talk about harnessing potentials, the first thing we should actually know that you cannot harness the youth potential without a platform.
Okay.
The first thing you should do is to have a platform that is structured to drive the talent of the youth. And what this current government of Anambra State is doing under the leadership of His Excellency Chief Dr. Willie Beno has done is actually to create that platform. And that platform has been created through the One Youth One Skill initiative that he introduced. That One Youth One Skill initiative also is very broad, that so many programs are embedded in that One Youth One Skill. In area of agriculture, skill training, entertainment programs. Because creativity most often revolves in entertainment and technology. You look at it so far, you can find out that these are as a result of the platform that is existing. That is what actually brought the 5 golden girls. That is what actually brought again the current bronze boys, also from Tunisia. They are from Anambra. You could know that it's not only Anambra that has youth, but why is it that most of these competitions, that when Anambra youth participate, they will come back with laurel? There are other people that are going to this protest, but it's happened that most often Anambra youth are the people that are coming back with those medals because we have the platform already in Anambra State.
Yeah, sure. We have a lot of youth in Anambra State, and I know a lot of people have benefited from the One Youth One Skill program, but yet we still have a lot of people that probably they've not heard about it, and they are still trying to see how they will harness the potential they have within. So what are you still doing to reach out to those people, especially those in rural communities?
We have 180 communities in Anambra State. And if you know, in every local government, there is skill acquisition center in every local government. And in every local government, there is a youth desk officer situated in every local government secretariat. So it's actually decentralized. Every youth at this point in time, you go to your local government. Once you go to a local government, you act of a youth desk officer every information you need based on trade, based on learning that you need. The information will be given to you, and you take advantage of what is actually going on in Anambra State.
All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, you're connected. Good morning.
What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Your name, we can hear you.
My name is.
All right, I think network is actually not being friendly this morning, but here's the thing. When you call us, as much as possible, move away from your TV set, or better still, turn down the volume of your TV set so we can actually enjoy our discussion this morning. Let me come back to you, Honorable Commissioner. You know, in the beginning, when you were trying to define who the Nigerian youth is, you used the word creative, innovative. You know, you can go on, and you've given us examples of the young youths from Anambra State, people who are from Anambra State who have participated in competition globally, internationally, and of course come back successfully. Now, let me take you away from, let's go to the youths in governance. When you tend to look at some other countries away from Nigeria, you find out that some youths are really doing something very tangible in those countries. For example, we can talk about France. We know how young the president of France is. In Nigeria, now my question is, as a nation, we know we seriously need to rethink our future. Now, how can we as a nation constructively, deliberately, relentlessly, and of course relevantly empower the youth to champion innovations you talked about to take up leadership position in a progressive nation like Nigeria?
Well, Anambra State usually take lead in everything that happens in Nigeria, and is a model that every state, including the federal government, should actually emulate. Okay. If you talk about youth in governance, Anambra State take lead. They have the youngest commissioner is from Anambra State, Mark Ukwe, the commissioner for economic planning. And if you know, economic planning is very integral and very important in the development of any state. Okay. It's being championed by or headed by the young person, and who coincidentally is the youngest commissioner in Nigeria, which is fabulous. And that is why look at the economy of Anambra State is growing. Okay. Also, Anambra State as well have the second youngest commissioner, who is the commissioner for youth empowerment and creative economy.
Sitting right here.
Right here. And do you know the importance of creative economy to the economy of any state or to the economy of a nation? So it's being headed by a youth and also from Anambra State. And also the young commissioners, the youngest commissioner, the youngest commissioner for youth also in Nigeria. From Anambra also.
All right.
So Anambra State have set a pace. And if you look at also political appointment as well, there are almost 40% of political appointees are youth. And that is making most of the activities or the governance in Anambra State running smoothly.
Let me pause you there because we're going to come back still talking about youths and governance. Right about now, let's go to the street there. And of course, I hear what people have to say about harnessing the potentials of the youths. We'll be right back.
First of all is to actually engage the youth, to know how possible best we can get what one can do best. Because you cannot get someone that can do best in politics or in academic work or in football or in this and make them together. First of all, you have to find out what one is good in. If the person is good in playing football, good in this, you have to help that person to bring up those career things in him, so they can help him to develop in the future careers.
As a youth, it depends on you to want to develop your potential. Like now, I'm a youth corp. I have certain things that I will have to develop myself. I have ideas. One is about meeting the right people. When you meet, you have a particular potential. Maybe you are a musician. If you don't meet the right people that will develop that potential you have in you, that potential will still be dormant. It will not come out. Also, education is one of the ways of developing the youth potential. The government can invest more in education.
You have to start with empowerment. finding out what they need to develop what they already have an idea on. If the person is a photographer, should give him or her training on photography, then empower him financially so he can start later.
Developing the youth potentials is about giving them an opportunity to excel and providing the basic necessities that they require. For instance, in the school environment, emphasizing more on the instead of on the academics, but also on the practical. So, once they practicalize what they're doing, they can be able to, bring out their skills and develop those potentials that are innate in them.
If you don't know who you are, if you don't know what the abilities lying within you, you cannot maximize those things within. So first of all, knowing them, changing the mindset, inculcating right values, the positive mindset, positive mentality, then that's a good way to go forward.
The best way to develop the potentials of youth is by the government creating programs on skill acquisition whereby they can learn new skills, tailoring, how to make hairs, how to make wigs and all that. It will really help.
I like healthy food. I love tasty food.
You don't have to compromise on health or taste when making your meals. With new Mamador seasoning cubes, you can cook delicious meals and still take care of your family's health. The only seasoning cubes with 30% RDA of iron and zinc to boost your family's immune system while satisfying their taste buds with a unique, long-lasting flavor. Available in chicken.
We're glad to have you back. We're still in the studios. If you're just joining us, the program is Good Morning Anambra. We're talking about harnessing youth potential. And in the house, we still have the Honorable Commissioner for Youth, Entrepreneurship and Creative Economy, and the person of Mr. Bonaventure Anamali.
Yes, and before we went, when these are the street people talking, saying how the government and the individual need to harness the potential within. So what's your thought on all they have just said?
Yes, they actually cover all the aspects of harnessing the youth potentials. Some mention about empowering them, some mention about believing in them, in yourself. Some also mention about you as well try to know what you want. And all these things they mention here are what we are currently doing in Anambra State.
And most times we know what we want. Like the president once said last July that education is a veritable way of harnessing the huge potentials of youth. Now, what's your take on that statement? Do you believe with what he said, considering the fact that a lot of people after graduating, they're still jobless, they're still unemployed in our society today?
Education, I must say, is very critical. However, I'm of the opinion that we should model our education system towards entrepreneurship. Okay. Not only theoretical. With that, I think we'll go a long way, to improve in youth employment. Because most of the youth who graduate, they are not employable. Okay. Because they don't actually understand what employability is all about.
That's really scary when you actually use the word most of the youth, most of the graduates are not employed. But we know that because when you probably go to the NYSC camp, you can actually see some of those examples. But let's come over to this talent with the youth, inside of the youth. How can parents begin to, of course, encourage their kids? On the internet, I get to see a lot of creativity, like you talked about with the Nigerian child. You see some young boys using paper and whatever to construct houses. You see some people using whatever to construct airplane, cars, and the likes. My question is, how can parents, and of course, how can the government, both the federal and the state government, help in making sure that those people, because for these young guys to probably think out something like that, there's something inside of them, if probably given much more opportunity, they can do something bigger. So how can they probably help such people?
Parents must also support the children by giving them the room and opportunity to do what they want to do, not actually what they want them to do. Like the Anambra State, for instance, we have a program, Anambra Talent Show, which is focused on two categories, technovation and entertainment. It is a 6-month program. Now, the guys that we are involved in technovation aspect of it, as at the moment, they are working on a project that Anambra State government is going to fund. We are in the verge of, trying to give them a certain fund that they use to develop. They are working on what they are going to come up with. They are going to come up with to generate electricity to generate an off-grid electricity through a hydroelectric turbine. Okay. And they are working on. There are 15 of them. These are young people from Anambra State, and the interesting part of it that they are from, I must say it, they are from disadvantaged home.
Okay.
And they are doing very well. So there are a whole lot of things that can come after you if parents can give them chance. Anambra State, as at the moment, have every opportunities to excel. All the youth in Anambra State. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, most of our youth who are entrepreneurs, let's just move a little bit away from what you just said. They are entrepreneurs. They can compete effectively in terms of innovation, ideas, and designs. But one of the problems we are facing in Nigeria is that we don't believe in Nigeria. Most people don't. Okay, like for example, if I go to the market, I see a product made by someone and they wrote made in Nigeria, I'll leave it and go for the one made in Italy or US or wherever country we're talking about. But the problem now is Nigerians discriminate against made in Nigerian goods, and most of these goods are being produced by youth, entrepreneurs. So how do we address this? If we are talking about harnessing their potential, this is the potential they have, but maybe this thing could be one of the reasons why after producing, nobody's there to buy. So what am I even doing with it?
When you are training youths in different skills, there are something we don't do why people don't patronize our product. Branding is very key and very critical in everything we do. You need to brand your product. The finishing part of your product, no matter how good it is very important. And that is why we are teaching our youth also during the program they are doing. So when you see some of the products, if they don't tell you they are produced here in Anambra State, you will not know. Okay. So the branding is very critical to trader. Most of the products you see that this product is made in Nigeria, because they are not actually, the end product is bad, but the product itself will be good, but the packaging is very poor. So the packaging and branding is part of the things we are training our youth in Anambra State.
In other words, what do you think are the challenges that make youths, as in their potentials, not being harnessed to its fullest?
Not having a platform. When there is no platform where they can exhibit what they have, they can't harness their potential.
Okay, away from the fact that it's been positive all the way as regards into what's happening in Anambra State and the youths in Anambra State. Now let's look at the bigger picture in Nigeria. Oftentimes we've always heard that youths are the future of tomorrow. It doesn't seem to be the case in Nigeria. I'm not talking in Anambra State, of course. You give an example of Mark Okoye, the youngest commissioner. You've given an example of yourself and some other people in the cabinet from, the political appointees, the SSAs and stuff. The bigger picture in Nigeria, it doesn't seem like the case when we talk about youths are the future of tomorrow. Now my question is that it's part of the challenges, in our society today, and we can't separate it from what the youths are actually going through. Now, recently, the international community agreed on implementing the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDGs, by 2030. Now, my question is, how do we ensure that the relevance of each of the SDG goals remains top as a priority to enable the youths become better?
Well, we should know that performance and capacity is very critical, is very important. If Macron is not doing very well as a youth, the president of France, it could have been used as a reference point when a youth is coming out to vie for a political position. If the youngest governor in Nigeria is not performing very well, if a youth come out to contest for a governor in any state, the state will use the other governor in another state who is young, that is not performing, as a reference point why they should not support the youth. The truth of the matter is that if the youth who are already in governance in leadership position, distinguish themselves, definitely, in a shortest period of time, you find out that you to begin to take their place in governance. But they must distinguish themselves. Those who are already existing, those who are in business also should do the same. That is only when we can climb that point.
So presently, with what's on ground now, is there any new thing your ministry is probably doing to help the youths of Anambra State probably achieve their full potential, away from some other stuff? I know you were part of the One Skill.
One Youth, One Skill.
Yes, for the youths and some other things. Is there anything new presently your ministry is doing for the youths?
Yes, currently we are working with IBM. The IBM is going to come into Anambra State to start their Digital Nation Africa project. Is a software development program. We want to bring it to Anambra State. We'll go into MOU with them in a short period of time to come, maybe in 2 months' time. And what that means is that they have a hub where different software applications will be developed, and it's going to be done by Anambra State. It's going to be a 5 years project in Anambra State, and we're expected to cover 10,000 youths.
Okay, and then how do you get these youths? People that will be...
It's across board from all the local government. The interesting part of it is that most of the program, all the program we do here is free. Just come out and it's interest based. The ministry don't decide the trade you will be trained. If you have interest in ICT, what you need to do now is to join the Digital Nation Africa, that is being piloted by the IBM. And you get, you get empowered. You know everything you need to know about software development, and you have opportunity also to be working either in a part-time or full-time with IBM, if on the successful completion of the project.
Oh, that's quite amazing. Time is really not our friend. We'll probably be moving any moment from now. But here's this question that bothers me. Being proactive means cultivating a prosperous mass of youth workforce. Can we really achieve this in Nigeria and basically in Anambra State? Can we achieve, when we talk about the workforce in Anambra State, the youths being the people pioneering the affairs?
Of course, we can see it happening in Anambra State. We should be
talking
let's move away from Anambra State. We're talking about Nigeria. But what we should know is that with time, like I mentioned earlier, it's all about performance and capacity. You must have the capacity to do it.
All right. Let's know who is here. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Your name and your location.
This is Pastor calling from OTD. I have some questions for the future.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Yandu, I'm hearing you.
About this one program.
Okay, what do you want to know about it?
In Anambra, I think all the communities like Ogidi communities in Anambra, we are not involved. I don't know. And talk about having a guest officer in each community. We didn't have health guest officer here in the city. I want to help to look into this matter. I think some people are selected, while others are just sitting around. I think you're part of this Anambra too. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ndu. I will tell you categorically, the large number of people from Ogidi have participated in the One Youth One Skill program. We have the database. It's real. It's factual. We don't do things, based on who know who now at this point in time. But I must tell you, you go to a local government of a secretariat, ask of a youth desk officer there. You attend to, you get a form from your desk officer. Alternatively, you can call this number 0909 0909 444 40. When you call this number, you get every information you need, and where to get your form and all that will be attended to.
All right, quickly, we have to run now. Just quickly, what are your final message to the youths generally listening to us out there now?
I want to tell the youth, Nigerian youth, to first of all build their capacity. Capacity building is very critical in taking any leadership position. and also don't put money first in everything you're doing. Learn every day. Try to learn new things every day and improve in what you're doing. That we don't have to wait for the leaders, the elder leaders, to give or to hand over to us when we cannot prove that we have the capacity to lead.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. The Commissioner, Honorable Commissioner for Youth, Entrepreneurship and Creative Economy, Mr. Bonaventure Anambra. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
All right, you've heard it from the Commissioner himself that you need to prove your mettle. All right, and that's it on harnessing youth potential. But we are not going anywhere. We're still going to be right back.